Let's see the abs. What?
And so when he said, what? And he started to laugh, I thought he was looking at his chest. All I could see in my head was the biggest form of gyno that perhaps I've ever seen. Coach Greg, and what a good time to do a natty or not on none other than Mosiah Pinder. It appears that he's a boxer, I'm not sure, but he has an incredible physique. So much so that it's hard to believe that he's actually natural. He collaborated with Larry Wheels, and in the video, they pointed out the fact that he's actually natty. And I was thinking, what's wrong with you? Are you kidding me? Does anyone actually believe that he's natural? It turns out that it's about 50-50. Half the people supporting him, they're saying, you know, he's black, and so obviously he's natural. And the other half thinking, what's wrong with you? I'm going to explain to you why I think that this guy is a fake natty, that he isn't actually natural. And by the end of the video, you're going to say, oh, I get it now. But remember, there's still a 1 in a million chance that he is in fact natural. And so if he wants to get his blood work done, send it to Coach Greg. We can go over it. But until then, this is what we have to go for. On his profile, it says he's a warrior and he's got a photo of a boxing glove. It doesn't say anywhere that he's natural, that he's lifetime natural. It doesn't say any of that stuff.
Look how thick this vein is on your bicep, bro. See that, chat? This is natural to you?
You can see he's got an arm, he's got a vein, probably about the size of Coach Greg, and I'm on 60 milligrams of test. Remember, I used to be on 140 milligrams of test a week, and about a month ago, I lowered it to 60 milligrams of test. You guys know I did the hair transplant. And so, do I look less natty? Do I look like I've lost all my gains? 60 milligrams of test. And so, you can believe me, you cannot believe me, I don't care. But I'm pointing out that I still seem to have a pretty decent sized vein on my bicep. Having a massive bicep vein is not proof that you're a fake natty. If you're natural and you take Cialis and your body fat is single digits, of which this guy most certainly is, you're going to see your bicep veins more than ever before. Now remember, if you want to get Cialis, you can of course pick it up at AlgoRx. Use code Greg for 10% off. While you're there, you can get enclomiphene. You can of course pick up GLPs, various peptides, and it's all 100% legal. The price is very competitive, about half the price of Merrick Health, and it's from compounding pharmacies, 100% legit. And I've also been drinking Alter Ego, the newest collaboration with Panda, and there's compounds like L-citrulline, which are 100% natural, which are going to make your veins come out more than ever before. Remember, they're encountering him at the gym. He's lifting weights. He has a pump. If you see me in an hour from now at the gym and I'm doing curls, you would not believe the difference it would make. And so none of this is evidence that he isn't natural. And so as I was watching this, I'm thinking to myself, I actually believe that he's natural. I think that 10 years of hard work with elite top level genetics, you can have a body like this. Not many can do it, but the rare few with great genetics who dedicate themselves, that he could do it natural. I saw no reason to hate, no reason to say he's a fake natty. At this point, I'm actually on his side.
I don't know.
That's genetics. To be honest. That's just genetics.
Yeah.
Not to mention, Johnny Munster, I'm a fan of Johnny Munster. He's literally backing him up. He's like, this is genetics. So I'm thinking they probably know each other. Perhaps he's his trainer, he's coach. I don't know. And so I'm thinking, he could be natural.
That's just genetics.
Yeah. Being this fast.
Then I saw the smirk on his face. He kind of was like, the body language to me was giving off a sense of, if you say so, bro. Bro is saying he's natural, but he's thinking, well, no, I'm not. And so I wasn't sure. I'm thinking, if he was natural, he probably would have said, yeah, I am natural. Of course, I work hard. Most of the time when somebody's natural, they want to say that they're natural. And why wouldn't you? If you're 100% natural, you're watching this video right now, bravo. I'm not a hater. I'm not going to put you down for being natural. I think that you deserve props for being natural. And if you look this good while being natural, well, that is peak. You're doing amazing. And so why would he just say, yeah, it is natural. I know. I know it's hard to believe because look, he's tall as Larry Wheels, probably 6'3", this guy. He's packed full of muscles, have 500,000 followers for being a stallion, for looking this good. Why wouldn't he simply say, yeah, I'm natural? And so when he doesn't say that, I was a little sus.
That's just genetics.
Yeah. Being this vascular, you mean?
Yeah.
With his response, he knows. I thought, okay, so he's kind of defending himself right there. He's basically saying, I am. He knows. He says, this is natural. His response, he knows. And so in that moment, he's essentially signaling to the world that I am 100% natural. On his Instagram page, it doesn't say he's natural. It doesn't say he's enhanced. And so if you went to his Instagram and you looked at his profile, you would assume he's not natural. Now, he doesn't have to tell the world that he's on steroids. He doesn't have to open up. He doesn't owe us anything. But if somebody says he's natural and he says, yeah, he knows, he's in agreement, and therefore he's showing to the world that he's natural. And so at this point, I think I have the right to then say whether I think he's natural or not.
You mean?
No. Yeah.
Let's see the abs.
And so Larry says, well, let's see the abs. And the mistake that he makes is he shows more than just the abs. Had he just shown the abs, did one of these, would have said, wow, bro is shredded. Look at the abs. We're all jealous. How do you do it? But he made a mistake. He raised the shirt a little bit too high, revealing the pecs.
Let's see the abs. What?
And so when he said, what? And he started to laugh, I thought he was looking at his chest. It's the first thing I saw. When I first saw, all I saw was abs, crazy, but once the shirt was raised an inch past the nipple, all I could see in my head was the biggest form of gyno that perhaps I've ever seen. And so unless you're trying to convince me that when you're black, you have genetics to have way more gyno than if you're Caucasian, you know, white guys, then this is steroids. Look at the gyno. Now, perhaps you didn't notice it because normally you see the gyno, it's perhaps about a centimeter around the nipple and you can see that lump that's formed. I want you to look at it right now so that you can get an appreciation for what horrendous gyno actually looks like. Can you now see what I see? Johnny Munster, he's natural. Somebody who actually has the eye, perhaps he's a little bit more intelligent. Couple with the gyno, I'm sure he's natty, and he shows the little like sad, squiggly, like drunk face. What are you gonna call that? And so coupled with the gyno, it's not the bicep vein, it's the gyno. If he wants to show photos back to when he was perhaps 11, 12, 15 years of age with horrendous gyno already, well, then it's possible that he is natural. 1 in a million. I mean, I don't get the joke. Do people actually say that this guy is natural? I mean, it's 2026. I feel like half the time things go over my head. I mean, I realize I'm a 5'6" manlet. It's not hard for things to go over my head, but there's something known as rage bait. You say the opposite of what everyone is going to think, and people get mad. It makes people comment. And so I was thinking, they're joking, right? The horrible gyno, the physique, the shreds, the size, and they're saying he's natural. This is a joke. And so I'm thinking it's just rage bait. It's a joke. It's 2026. He obviously is not. He's lean and the vascularity is insane. Gyno, if you look closely, and I'm thinking, what do you mean by look closely? I can't unsee it. It's all that I see. He looks the same all year round. He's been training for a very long time and naturally very lean. And so is that evidence that he's natural? Well, let's look at me. I'm not natural all the time. Remember, since I've been in my 30s and I started abusing performance-enhancing drugs, and since that time, 140 milligrams of testosterone a week, lowered it to 60 milligrams of test, I'm not natural. How does my physique look all year long? Do I look roughly the same all year long? Do I have abs? Do I roughly appear the same? Do I always have single-digit body fat? And so I look about the same all the time, and I'm not natural. And so is it possible that he's on performance-enhancing drugs all the time and always looks amazing? Just because you always look lean and always look good doesn't mean that you're natural. It, in fact, could mean the exact opposite. What features show that this guy is not natty? That is the question. Not a question, the question. Why would you think that? And so, A, because he looks amazing. The first thing is because he looks better than 99.999% of the population, I automatically assume that he's not natural. And why is that? Because it's like in poker. The betting odds are this is a fake natty. If you ever see a guy looking as good as this, bet the house that he's a fake natty. And why? Because most of the time you're going to be right. Let's call it 9 out of 10 times. Probably 99 out of 100, but most of the time. If I have ace-ace and I'm playing poker, I'm going all in. Does it mean I will always win? No, but 89% of the time I'm going to win. I got ace-ace. If somebody wants to go all in, I'm calling it. What's the best cards he could have? King, king, ace, king suited? It's not going to beat me. Well, maybe, but most of the time, I'm beating that hand. That was the first reason. The next, it wasn't the vein. It wasn't the six-pack. It wasn't the fact that he was black or white. It was the horrendous gyno. That kind of gyno is extreme. When you use testosterone, oftentimes it converts to estrogen. Too much testosterone, too much estrogen conversion, and that is a side effect. Now, it isn't always testosterone. It could be from, for example, taking Tren and or Deca, and you get prolactin, and you can get gyno formation as well from these substances. Or it could be a combination of all of them. You're taking Test and Deca and Tren, and this is the result. Now, to combat these side effects, most people would be, for example, taking Aromacin. They would be taking Anastrozole, perhaps Nolva, Femra, not often, but these are some things that you can take to counter those side effects. Now, once it's this far gone, you almost always need surgery in order to remove it. But you say Hussein is natty, LOL. Hussein passed 4 blood work tests in a row. While getting blood work done, he literally got bigger and stronger and leaner than last time. And so, how is it possible to abuse steroids, performance-enhancing drugs, and pass the blood work at the same time? Remember, it's not even a drug test. When you take testosterone, it's going to cause your LH and FSH to go down. It's most likely going to tank your HDL. Your good cholesterol is going to go down, and you're going to see a host of different side effects. It's in the blood work. You literally can see it. And so I don't see this gentleman's blood work. Is it possible that he's natural? Is it possible that his gyno came from something else? Yes. It's just highly unlikely. To the same extent, if I have ace-ace and you have a 4 and an 8 on the flop, I'm probably going to win. Does it mean I will always win in Texas Hold'em? No. But most likely I probably am right. And so until I see a few more cards, hey, he has a 4 and 8, the next card is a 4, and the next card is an 8. Well, it's starting to look good for him. He's now got 2 pairs. I only have 1. Until he shows the blood work, there is no other evidence to support him. The majority of the evidence is in favor of him being a fake natty. And other than saying he's black, what else do you got? Why would he be natural? Because he agreed with Johnny Munster? Said, yeah, he knows? That's what you got for him being natural? It doesn't even say it in his profile. He doesn't make videos talking about, hey, I'm natural. This is what I did. These are my secrets. Look at my parents, my brother, my sister. They're Olympia competitors and they're natural. And so it's in my DNA. None of that exists. And so why would you think that I'm wrong? I don't think he's claiming to be natural. Yeah, I mean, doesn't that also point to the fact that he's probably not natural? If he's not claiming to be natural on Instagram, then why would we assume he's natural? Aside from him agreeing with Johnny Munster, saying, yeah, he knows, there isn't really much evidence to say that he's actually a liar. Like, I don't see that from him. And so perhaps he was caught in the moment. He's on film. He doesn't want to talk about being on steroids, about being on peptides. And so when Johnny Munster said, no, this is natural, was he supposed to in that moment say, no, bro, actually, it's 160 milligrams of test. Like, I'm not hating on Mosiah. Like, I think in the exact same situation, I think 99 out of 100 people would have done the exact same thing. But in the same regard, I don't think it's fair to hate on me for pointing out the obvious that most likely he's not natural. The people who are watching this and are thinking, you know, I don't have a physique such as this, and he's natural. I may as well just give up. I just don't have the genetics. I'd rather you think, no, he's probably on steroids. That's why he looks that good. And so because I only have a half as good a physique as this, it's pretty good because I'm actually natural. And so I feel like my video does more good than harm. Perhaps some of you can say no, because it's not giving people hope that you could look like that natural. I still think that you can. The one in a millions out there, the guys like Hussein Farhat that were just given God-tier genetics and they worked hard on top of that. And on top of that, you're adding in perhaps Cialis to get the extra vein, and you're at single-digit body fat. You have lean genetics you eat from my freaking cookbook, and you're doing plenty of cardio. For example, Coach Greg, I'm doing 10 hours of bike racing each and every week. And so if you do the cardio and you're lifting the weights and you're eating the healthy foods, then of course it's possible. And as far as the being shredded part, now with Retta, we got things like Ozempic and terzipatide that are like legal. These drugs, these GLPs, you can get them prescribed by doctors. Retta, 2 tried, you cannot. Remember, go to Algorex and find out what is actually legal. We have various sites where you can get peptides and so on. And Algorex, it's all above board. It's not some research chemical site. It's prescription medication from compounding pharmacies. And so you can trust everything that you're getting. It's not going to say 5 milligrams. It's actually going to be 3 or it's 10. If it says it's 100 milligrams, it's 100 milligrams. And so whatever you need, a doctor can prescribe it. You can get your blood work done. You can see everything. And to Messiah, if he wants to get his blood work done, he can get his blood work done. He can send a video to Coach Greg. I can go over that in a video. Enjoy making natty or knots and so on. Recently done so on some power lifter, Nonzo. You can go and watch this video as well. And so you can see, are they actually natural? Are they enhanced? It's all in the blood work. Saying this while also claiming that Julian is natty is crazy work, Coach. My original video said that Julian was a fake natty. And then Julian voluntarily gave me his blood work. And I went over the blood work and it proved he was natural. I mean, I don't understand this. Like, what's with the comments? And so video's over. You can write what you want. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm, like the video if you liked it. Don't forget, if you're interested in getting coached by myself or myself on my team, click the link. Sponsored? Click the link. You want to sell my stuff? Click the link. Don't forget to watch one of those 2 bloops. And until next time, I am out.